Good evening. I am talking to 6th and 7th grade English language arts class, talking a little bit about Sacagawea or Sacagawea. I guess it depends on where you're from and how you pronounce it. Perhaps one of the things we'll delve into as we discuss further about this amazing young lady. But what I would like my students to do is, this will be a unit, I guess, on Native Americans and contributions to society, right, and how we have all evolved and where we've come from. And she was such an integral part of it that I think it's really important to highlight her and her story. Things of controversy, not just the pronunciation of her name, but also her death. So after we read about her, I'd like students to write a paper more in depth about her life before white man came, during the white man's time, and then what happened to her after, because really therein lies a huge question. There's great debate about that. So what I did is I went to Google and I found this site here that talks about Native Americans and the true story of her and her people. I have a couple of issues with this, and the biggest thing for me is that this whole page, it's Native Americans, the true story of her and her people, but I cannot find when the page was created or how often it is updated, or if at all, if it's updated. I'm not entirely sure. As I scroll through, I don't really see anything about it. They do cite a lot of really great sources, so that leads me to believe that perhaps this is a legitimate site, but I don't see an author, and I do not see when any of this was written. But as I go through and I scan across, you can see here we've got some citations happening, to get a little bit more history based on this. If you go to the very bottom of the page, you'll see here's the references, and there's quite an extensive list of references, which makes me feel a little bit better about the site. But scrolling up, the only reason I can find out anything about this website or who potentially wrote it is if I click on the home button and scroll down, and then I happen across, okay, well, this is written by Bonnie Spirit Windwalker Butterfield. I don't know anything about Bonnie, so I go and I type her in, Bonnie Spirit Windwalker Butterfield, and I don't see anything again, that tells me anything about her. There's a Wikipedia page. I'm not a huge fan of Wikipedia. I'm not entirely sure, that they're the best resource all the time, because, people can go in and make their own edits to it. But there's really nothing about Bonnie herself, who wrote it. There's this piece here from the Indian Education, Utah State Board of Education. Okay, so I'll click on that, and it just takes me back to the same story. Written by Bonnie. So I'm not entirely sure, how I feel about this site here. The only reason that perhaps I would allow students to use it, I think, would be because of all of the citations that come along with it, and the people that she references that she has read upon. But I think this is a good site for students to look at and go, is this what I'm looking for? Is this not what I'm looking for? Does it have good information? And can I back it up? You can look at the references and you can see, yes, you can back up what Bonnie says. Other than that, I don't know that this is perhaps the strongest website that the students could use. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably giving it somewhere around a 6. So that's my site. Hope you guys all have a great night and enjoy your weekends. Thanks.